Hey, Holland Avenue. So the College and Young Professional group has been focusing on all of the boat scenes within Mark, and I'd love to share another one with you. So this is Mark chapter 6, verses 45 through 52. Immediately he made his disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side, to Bethsaida, while he dismissed the crowd. And after he had taken leave to them, he went up on the mountain to pray. And when evening came, the boat was out on the sea, and he was alone on the land. And he saw they were making headway painfully, for the wind was against them. And about the fourth watch of the night, he came to them, walking on the sea. He meant to pass by them, but when they saw him walking on the sea, they thought it was a ghost and cried out. For they all saw him and were terrified. But immediately he spoke to them and said, "Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid." And he got into the boat with them, and the wind ceased, and they were utterly astounded, for they did not understand about the loaves, but their hearts were hardened. And so here we find the disciples again. Remember, these are lifelong fishermen. They were asked to cross the sea again, per Jesus' request. Only this time, Jesus is back on the land praying. And so we see our disciples are struggling, all right? But what they don't know is that Jesus is watching out for them. That evening, he sees them making headway painfully because that wind was coming against them. So they were slowly churning across this sea. It had been hours. And so, some point in the middle of the night, we're thinking around 6 in the morning, Jesus started to head across the sea by walking on the water. And he is going to pass by just close enough for them to see him. I'm imagining right now that this is Jesus trying to yell, "Remember," to these disciples. Remember God's faithfulness. Now, these disciples have just seen some crazy miracles. It was not too long ago that he had calmed the storm on the sea. That very day, he had seen him feed 5,000 people with 2 fish and 5 loaves of bread. All right, so this is Jesus just trying to say, remember what I can do. Remember who I am. Now, problem is, they did not see this as an act of God's faithfulness. They panic. They are terrified of what is happening. They think they see a ghost. But luckily, at this moment, Jesus immediately speaks and says, "Take heart, it is I. Do not be afraid." Jesus hops into the boat, and once again, the wind ceases. So right now, some of us might be struggling. So let's use this passage to remember. Remember that we are never struggling in isolation. God is always watching, and when we think that we need him most, he comes along right beside us in our struggles, hops in the boat, and says, "Take heart. It is I. It's me, God." So as we go forward, let's remember. Remember God's promises. Remember the times that he has been faithful. Remember that God is sovereign over all of this. So let us take heart and remember who he is through prayer and through time in his word. Thanks, Holland Avenue. Have a blessed day.